Hey, my friend. I feel like we've got a few things to talk about right now because there's a lot of craziness happening out in the world. And we need to talk about how all of what we've been talking about here in this group and on this channel really plays into why we need to work so much harder at it. Because, y'all, there's a lot of stuff going on. So, tonight, I want to talk a little bit about, we've been talking about email marketing in the group this month. I just posted a brand new video yesterday that will walk you through exactly how to build a full email funnel from start to finish. I've also actually published out an entire blog post. Like, this thing is legitimately step by step all the way through. Okay. So if you guys are here wanting to talk about email marketing tonight, that's great. But I would go visit the video that I did yesterday. Go check out this blog post. Tonight, I actually want to talk a little bit differently. I want to talk about having a sense of urgency in our business. I want to talk a little bit about the pressures that are happening to employees in the workplace right now and why that should be lighting a fire under all of us. And I have 5 questions that I want you to ask yourself by the end of this video that will help you grow faster. Okay, these are common mistakes that I'm seeing right now with conversations that I'm having with people in the group. Okay, I got to sit in a couple of meetings today, and it really helped me open my eyes to some of the reasons why we get stuck so quickly, right? So I've got 5 questions that I want us to answer by the end of the video tonight, but also I want to talk about a couple of the current events that are happening. Okay, now I don't want any of this to happen to go political because it's not political. This is not a political group. We're going to keep it that way. Okay. Now, if you guys are watching on the live, make sure you give me a hashtag live. If you're catching this on the replay, toss up a hashtag replay. Let me see you guys up in the comments. But there's some crazy stuff that kind of happened yesterday, right? One, I actually saw this article that came out about the Great Resignation. I've talked about this before in a couple different places, but we've never really talked about it here in the group before. So I wanted to kind of talk about this. The Great Resignation is here and it's real. People are quitting their jobs at a higher than usual rate. And what can businesses do to keep their workers? Okay. So in this article, what I found really interesting about this is they concluded that 11.5 million workers quit their jobs in the month of April, May, and June. 11.5 million people just walked away from their jobs. And they're expecting this to actually pick up, right? A survey of over 30,000 workers conducted by Microsoft found that 41% are considering quitting. That number jumps to 54% when Gen Z is considered alone. Gallup found that 48% of employees are actively searching for new opportunities, and that 38% of those surveyed plan to make a change within the next 6 months. Okay. Here's what's really crazy about that. I'm one of them, right? I'm part of this Great Resignation because I found that I no longer had the desire to work for somebody else, right? I no longer had the desire to get up, leave my house, go accomplish somebody else's goals for the sake of somebody else's dreams while sacrificing my life and my time with my kids and my wife, right? I was just no longer willing to make that exchange, right? But then on the other side, we saw also yesterday, we saw President Biden announce vaccine mandates on any company employing over 100 people, right? Now, listen, if you want to get the vaccine and you're comfortable with that, absolutely go for it. If you don't want to get the vaccine, I feel like you should have the freedom to make that choice, right? Not going to talk about whether or not I'm vaccinated. I don't think that's a big deal. I think what we need to be talking about is the fact that if you don't feel comfortable with that, what's your backup plan, right? Because the companies can do what the companies do, and they have every right to do that. I believe that businesses have the right to make those choices. Now, they're being compelled to do so, so that's a reality. So that just puts additional pressures on being an employee, right? Just a fact of the matter. This leads to all the other pressures that we have as employees, right? Arbitrary goals, making sure that we work a schedule that we're scheduled. Those little things kind of all play hand in hand. But this is why I talk about you need to have a backup plan, right? One of the reasons why me and my wife started our business back in the day was because we got hit. It had nothing to do with the stuff going on in today's world, right? But my wife wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, so she left her job. That was $60,000 a year that went poof, right? I entered into a child support agreement where I was paying $1,800 a month, right? So there's another $20,000 went poof. So we went backwards $80,000 a year. What do you do, right? What do you do? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The fact that it can actually be the concept of starting a business can be very easy, right? It's a matter of serving, it's a matter of helping. It's the execution part that becomes hard, the actual taking steps forward in your business on a daily basis to continue to just get incrementally better. Those are the intangibles that are very difficult to make it, right? Versus I'm glad they all have rich parents. You know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just got to walk out because they got rich parents. I don't know about you, Deborah, but I don't have it like that, right? I think, some people might have it. That ain't me. We still have to work for it for a living. I just wanted to remove that intangible, right? Because if I was working for somebody right now and I was to go say any of this, I could be fired, right? You are held on to by the arbitrary whims of somebody else. I just didn't want that kind of hanging over the top of me, right? I saw great employees who put a lot of time in with that same company that I was with be let go to cut cost. Again, they have every right to do that, right? They're a business. They have every right to cut their costs down. But I just knew that if it could happen to them, it could happen to me, right? In fact, I lost my job once for 8 hours just to be called back 8 hours later and told, okay, never mind. We'll actually let you keep your job, right? Because I was part of a squeeze down, right? They were combining a couple districts. I got a phone call, said, hey, Shane, question for you. Would you be able to relocate 5 hours away? I need to know, like, right now. What do you mean you need to know? Can I talk to my wife about it? Like, I have kids in school. My mother-in-law at the time was living with us. Her son was in school. Like, I can't just tell you I can move, 5 hours away to a different part of Florida. It just wasn't possible. And so I said, well, I need some time, boss. So I talked to my wife, with my mother-in-law, and of course we couldn't move. Like that wasn't an option. And so I called and I let him know, hey, boss, sorry, I'm not going to be able to relocate right now. And he goes, well, it's been good working with you. So since I just can't move 5 hours away all of a sudden, like that's it? You're just going to let me go? And his answer was, yeah, man, tough, I know. Like, really? Like this is, and we think of job security, but is that really what it is, right? I don't feel like that's really what it is anymore. Now, I got lucky that 8 hours later, he called me back and said, oh, hey, we were able to talk somebody else who's younger, not married, doesn't have kids into making that move. So they're going to relocate. So congratulations, Shane. We actually do get to keep you. Thanks, boss, right? Like, yeah, Deborah says, I got let go after 3 months. Yeah, listen, it happens, right? But that's what makes what we talk about in this group so damn important. Because when we start to build our thing on the side, right? When we start to brand ourselves, when we start to learn some of these different mechanisms that can earn us an income online by being helpful, all of a sudden we can start to reduce the dependency that we have from our employers, right? And when we can reduce that dependency, we win. And then all of a sudden we can be in a place like my wife and I finally are now after 3 years of working at this, to where I don't have to worry about my boss calling me to fire me, right? It's up to me instead just to get up and go work on my business, right? To go work our businesses. But it's not up to my boss, right? So that's really kind of what it's all about. There's just too many pressures on us as employees that if we're not focused hard on trying to grow our business to where we don't have to have that job as a lifeline, it's not job security, it's a lifeline, right? We need to continue to grow ourselves, to expand and start building these passive income streams that we talk about. So, hey, Mel, glad to have you coming in live. Appreciate it. And listen, again, if you're catching us live, hit hashtag live. Otherwise, leave hashtag replay in the comments. If you guys are catching us on YouTube, be sure, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. I go live every Friday. I got a training video that launches every Thursday and a Q&A, passive income Q&A video that hits every Monday. So I'm working on building up the content on this platform and just kind of getting it all going. So, but let's get to tonight's like actual meat and potatoes of this training, right? Which is, what are these 5 questions? And if you don't have a business right now, okay, if you haven't started a side hustle yet, that's fine. These 5 questions can actually help you launch a brand new business. It's just up to learning the skills to actually start to monetize it, okay? But this is basically what a business is. So question number 1, if you don't know what you want to do yet, here's a great question to ask yourself. What do you do that you love or know so well that you could talk for 20 minutes without any preparation at all? What do you know or love so much that if somebody was just to ask you about it, you could just ramble in their ear for 20 minutes, no preparation, and just go to town? Okay? Ask yourself that one question. Now, the next question, this is where you can easily start to decide what the things you want to talk about. What do new people struggle with on that thing? So using this as an example, okay? Here in the group, we're talking about how to start building up different income streams, how to start a business, how to go live, how to create an email marketing list, how to start, just marketing in general. Well, we want to start talking about, what do people actually struggle with? Well, they struggle with how to build a landing page, right? So I created content about how to build a landing page, created content on how to build an email sequence, how to create automation, right? I love marketing. I love what we do online. I love business. I sold cell phones for 15 years. I hated cell phones. I got so tired of cell phones. There's not a lot of difference between the iPhone 11 and the one that's going to come out now. Okay. The Samsung Galaxy S12 was fine. Was just as good as the 20. Okay. They basically do the same thing. Small incremental growth. I didn't care about the cell phones. I cared about the business. I cared about the sales process. I cared about our customer service, and I cared about getting people paid. I loved the business part of it, right? And that's what I love about everything that we do with Operation Passive Income, everything that we do with me and Janet's business, Solutions for Sellers. I love the business side, right? Well, I want to help people, right? I want to help people be able to walk away from their full-time jobs to be able to spend as much time with their family as I get to spend with mine, right? I want other people to be able to experience a 1-month vacation that they don't have to ask their boss for PTO for, right? Well, how do we do that? I don't think a lot of people know how to get started. I don't think a lot of people know what it takes to provide value and then to monetize through that value. So I want to start thinking about, what do people struggle with, right? Number 3, what could you recommend? What could you recommend to help people who are just starting, that are struggling with the things that you know that you're struggling in the thing that you love to talk about so much, right? We first start talking about what we love and what we know. And then we start thinking about, if somebody's starting it today, what's their pain point? What are they struggling with? Number 3, what can we recommend, right? We already know, we've talked about this in some other videos. We already know you can go to Amazon and become affiliate right now, right? You could go to walmart.com, become an affiliate right now. We know you could go to Lancato and go sell keto blueberry muffins at a 20% commission rate right now. So what are the things that you could recommend that you could become an affiliate for, that then you can actually start creating content around, right? It's exactly what we're doing in this group. When we talked about modeling a couple weeks ago, right? Exactly how can you model somebody who's talking about the thing that you love and do things in a similar way with similar content with your spin, that when you make the recommendation, you earn the commissions, you earn the sales, right? But we got to get people on the email list we've been talking about, right? So what could you make? What guide or workbook could you make? What free thing could you offer somebody that would provide them value that might contain some recommendations for the people that are starting, that are struggling on the thing that you love so much? Okay. That is your lead magnet. That's your freebie that gets people into your email list, right? And once you start actually piecing all that together, where can you host a community? Okay. Where could you host a community? Now, one thing that we've kind of talked about before on the channel, right, is the 3 C's to solving a customer's problems, right? The first one being content, right? Whether it be a post that's helpful, whether it be a blog post that's helpful, whether it be a video that's helpful, a live that's helpful, right? What kind of content can you do to help solve somebody's problem? Where could you create a community, right? Because sometimes the best way for people just to get involved in the thing that you're talking about is to give them a place to talk about it, right? Which is what the Operation Passive Income group is. If you guys are in our Solutions for Sellers, we have an incredible community over there. Our academy is an incredible community, right? Where can you host a community at in order where you can invite them by providing them a free guide to get them on your email list, where you recommended a thing that can help whoever's struggling that's getting started about the thing that you love and know, right? This right here, these 5 questions are legitimately the 5 questions you have to ask yourself that you could form a business on right now. And that's the craziest part about it, is just this thing. The fact that each one of us have this little device in our hands, and instead of watching TikToks all night long, you instead decided to post TikToks all night long with a recommendation and a call to action and an affiliate link in there. You can start a business directly from a device like that. But where we tend to find ourselves, okay, is we tend to find ourselves in this thing where we go, okay, I have this thing and I really need to sell this thing. So I need to go and find people that would want to buy this thing. Hey, everybody, I have this thing, right? So many of us approach business in that way, and it's very me, 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 me. Instead of, man, who could I really help? What's the exact person that if I was to be talking about this, who would I be talking to? And what would they be struggling with? And how could I help them best? Right? It's a complete adverse reaction to where I think a lot of us naturally kind of go to. As we go to the selfish side. Whereas if instead we ask 5 the first question is kind of selfish, right? And I think that's okay. What do you know and love that you could talk about for 20 minutes straight with no preparation, right? But then that meets with who can you help, right? That becomes part of the purpose. Can't post comments to some destinations. Deborah says, I find branding very difficult. Okay, let me know why. Deborah in the comments, let me know why you find branding to be very difficult. I think it's one that, well, actually, I think she'll know who she is, but I won't say names. So I was speaking with a client of mine today about really something kind of ties back into branding pretty well, right? So I was working with her on the lead magnet that we want to put into an email funnel. Okay, so we're working on kind of building out the email funnel. And when talking with her, I had asked her the prior time that we had our first meeting, I asked her like, okay, who's your like target customer? Who is your avatar? And they were able to let me know exactly who that person was. And it was 45 to 60 year old woman, empty nesting, looking for income opportunities and community, right? Which is a great, like, man, that's a great niche. That is super dialed in. I love it, right? And so while I was preparing for our meeting today, she sent over a lead magnet. And the lead magnet the freebie had absolutely nothing to do with that target customer. And I just asked her, right? Like, what is this? Tell me how this has to work with the person that we're trying to talk to. And man, it was like a light bulb, right? And so, Deborah, I think this might be a different way to maybe approach it, right? Is how do we tie everything that we're trying to talk about and all the problems we're trying to solve, how do we tie it back to the exact person we want to talk to, which is almost always somebody who's exactly like us, right? For me, I want to talk to people who feel fed up with the normal rat race, that 9 to 5, that feels like they want more time back with their family and a stronger sense of freedom in their lives and are willing to work their ass off on the back end to build a business for them. Okay, that's who I want to talk to. That's the person I want to have a conversation with. Because if I can get that person to just move forward with something they didn't realize wasn't that hard to begin with, but then they start seeing success, man, that's a win for me, right? And so hopefully that kind of helps, Deborah. She says, I took a course from someone online who I follow, and I tried to take what she said to heart. I still couldn't. I would say keep trucking, because if you think about it, it still took us almost 3 years, right? We're just now at a point where we were able to both come home, leave our jobs, do what we're doing now. But it was an absolute grind for years. We didn't know branding when we started. We didn't know how. I mean, I had a concept of personal branding, but it was more in like a corporate world, right? How do you brand yourself within a company? I didn't know how to brand myself online. I'm still learning that. Lord knows, I don't know if this Friday Live thing up in the corner looks good or if it's cheesy, right? I don't know. I'm just trying stuff out too. Mel says brick by brick and it'll stick. I love that. And I think that's the other side. I think, Deborah, just go do you. Don't worry about what other people think, right? That's one thing I think over the last month of me going live that I'm really getting better at. I don't care. Like, I know I'm going to have haters. I know some people are going to think I'm silly. I've already had a family member be like, dude, you look so nervous doing that. Like, do you really want to keep doing it? Yeah, I do. I have a passion for what I want to talk about, right? Which is why I'm doing this. So I don't care. I'm going to do me, right? So I think do you and just keep getting better at it, Deborah. I think we're all just looking to get better day by day. I think we tend to want to rush and race and try and get to where we're going really, really fast, not thinking that this is a race that has no finish line, right? There's always the next step of improvement. We just have to incrementally be willing to get better. So now, I'll be honest, guys, I don't have a whole lot left for tonight's live. I just really wanted to kind of break these 5 questions down, try and reverse it a little bit, understand that there's a lot of pressures. If you are still working for somebody else, get your hustle on, okay? Find that thing you're passionate about, continue growing, continue building, because it's going to get rough out there, I think. Just seeing all the different things kind of coming our way with this great resignation, inflation's really going crazy, not being able to having to commute with the gas prices. It's been huge for Janet and I. So keep the grind on. Again, if you guys wanted to catch more on the email marketing stuff, dead set. I put out a big time video yesterday that really does walk you through everything step by step. And then I also did, if you go to operationpassiveincome.com, I got the new blog post out, and literally, like, I break it down exactly what to click, exactly what to build. And by the end of this article and the video, you will have a landing page, a 5-email new subscriber sequence, and it will be automated. Okay. Completely automated. So go check that out. It's on the website now. And then again, if you're catching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. I go live every Friday. For those that are in the group, thank you guys so much for the support. Share this group as well. Definitely want to grow this out. We were doing like drawings and stuff in our other group once we got to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 members. So I'd like to do that too. We've got a long way to go. I think we're almost to 150. So slow and steady wins the race. But I hope you guys have a great Friday night. I'm going to go spend time with the family. I'll see y'all later.